Previously on Billy Corgan's Adventures in Carnyland.
Every day I question my sanity because I have a really good day job, but that doesn't seem to be enough. And so somehow I have to put wrestling in that mix.
This is a passion that he's always wanted to be a part of.
Welcome to the Crockett Cup.
The Crockett Cup is the most prestigious tag team tournament ever.
Unfortunately, we have paltry attendance.
I'm just hoping something magical happens in the next 5 hours and that this place is packed.
What a disaster.
I always told myself I'd be a rock star, that my story would be about music, and music only. But when I bought a professional wrestling company, that story changed, which is why I find myself today at the NWA's annual Crockett Cup in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Although if I'm being straight, I thought there'd be a lot more people showing up to see this particular chapter.
We still don't have that word of mouth to see us as a live event to be a part of in person. Let the magic happen.
But getting that word of mouth to spread is exactly what I need Kyle and Joe from our front office to do. Something that's second nature to part-time NWA wrestler Bryan Idol.
You have to be convincing people that this is something that they want to spend their money on. So to get them through that door, it takes a lot of this. It takes a lot of personality, a lot of face time. And I just don't think that they're even the type of people that are capable of doing that.
That's correct, because I'm not a ticket seller. I am not a promoter. Joe and I both are trying to make the best of a situation where we're juggling 1,000 things.
But there's a lot of stuff that Bryan Idol will try to interject into what's happening with the NWA, and his methods of doing things are very different than my methods of doing things or Kyle's methods of doing things.
Friction between the NWA's front office and Bryan has led to Bryan's extended leave of absence. If Bryan had been involved on the ground in selling tickets for Winston-Salem/Crockett Cup, we absolutely, positively would have sold more tickets. It's without a doubt. Despite the very disappointing ticket sales, day one of the Crockett Cup is in full swing.
Crockett Cup, 2 nights, 24 teams. Oh my God, how do I make this work? Well, you start with who's going to be in the final. So you book everything backwards. What's the journey to get everyone there?
A journey that involves all the very best of the NWA's wrestlers. For example, Thrillbilly and EC3.
Hitting the solar plexus, driving it home, driving the air out of his lungs.
Got him up! Oh, my God, check his pulse after that.
The father and son duo, Ricky and Carrie Morgan. Or maybe the Midnight Riders featuring Tyrus, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Coming in, smothering.
Who still remains untoppled.
Good God, he's unconscious.
More on Tyrus later, because ultimately, this elimination tournament comes down to just 4 teams.
Knox and Murdoch, 2 bruising, over 300-pound veterans.
We're pretty experienced guys. We're not, I wouldn't say we're old, certainly not seasoned. Seasoned is a beautiful word.
La Rebellion, the NWA World Tag Champions.
Bestia, seis, Mecha Wolf.
My partner, he's from Mexico.
Los campeones mundiales de NWA.
Myself, I'm from Puerto Rico. To have 2 guys that are like Latino, born and raised, to come here to the NWA is a big deal for us.
The Clowns, as I like to call them, the brothers of instruction.
Not only do we clown, we kick major booty in the wrestling ring.
And then BFT, managed by Aaron Stevens.
I'm Carnage.
And I'm Damage.
They certainly are physical and brutal.
No.
I mean, look at the talent I get to work with.
And while only one of these great teams will take home the Crockett Cup at tomorrow night's main event, tournaments like this are built to showcase the talent and athleticism of all involved. But this is the NWA, and what I also want to see is showmanship, which is why I have this man. No, not Damage, his manager, Aaron Stevens.
I was a professional wrestler for over 20 years, even though I probably don't look it due to my radiant skin. Being the camera hog that I am, I've found a way to remain on camera by taking some talent and getting them what I like to say is TV ready in terms of how a talent presents themselves on TV. Because there's not a lot of people in my opinion, that are actually teaching this in the wrestling business now.
And TV ready is important, considering that we make TV here at the NWA. In fact, the Crockett Cup itself is a live pay-per-view broadcast, directed by our own Billy Trask, who happens to know a thing or two about NWA showmanship versus what other non-NWA talent might do.
I don't want to say guys lack character nowadays, but I do feel like their personality takes a back seat to some of the tricks that they do. If you ask any lapsed wrestling fan that used to watch it when it was at its hottest, they don't talk about specific moves. They talk about the big moments. And a lot of those moments were things that happened that weren't necessarily wrestling matches.
Once I'm done, I'm done. He's gonna have to go through the best of them.
Oh, I like all my life. I have a good time all the time.
The American Dream, Thunder in both fists, headed your way with knuckle sandwiches.
Of course, wrestling matches are important, but you know, it's more than that.
And it's that more that sets the NWA talent apart from the rest of the pack.
And the core of pro wrestling has always been the characters and the story. And that's what we focus on in NWA. So I kind of like to take people that I think have potential and show them that they can do the cool moves as well as present themselves where people will care about them.
Character, story, substance over style. This is what defines the modern NWA. The stories I built for this year's Crockett Cup are just getting started. For better,
oh my God, that looks serious.
Or worse. Despite the exciting lineup of matches planned, day one of the Crockett Cup is already off to a rocky start with painfully low attendance.
That's correct, because I'm not a ticket seller.
And now Sal the Pal of the Miserably Faithful has suffered what's starting to look like a serious leg injury during a four-way tag team elimination match.
Very highly of themselves, but Sal starting things off. Sal, what happened?
The last super I threw, it was just an electric bolt.
Inside or outside?
Along the hamstring. I mean, it's the same feeling I felt when I tore my pec. I mean, it's the same lightning bolt.
The most annoying question in professional wrestling is, yeah, but wrestling's fake, question mark.
Yeah, this is fake wrestling. This is fake, this is fake.
So for anybody who thinks wrestling's fake, they don't really understand. It's like saying, yeah, when the stunt man jumped through the fire, he didn't really jump through the fire because he was okay.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your hamstring tendon.
Oh.
Feel how it's not there? Yeah, it's gone.
The difference with the professional wrestlers, they can put their bodies through that level of punishment and still come out the other side and go home for dinner that night. Most people would end up going to a hospital. But in this case, Sal is going to the hospital.
Shit. Oh, it's over for me.
So we try to mitigate those risks, but there are times where it just happens. And it's awful, and it'll never not be awful.
For these wrestlers, the athleticism is real, and so is the pain. And it's something every wrestler has on their minds.
It's scary because you know it can happen at any moment on anything. Honestly, usually it happens on the things that you least expect.
I have torn an ACL, I've had a dislocated shoulder, had a concussion.
We put our entire body on the line day after day for the love of pro wrestling.
I've broken both of my feet, I've broken both my arms, completely destroyed my hands, broken all my fingers, my elbows. I've had multiple concussions, I've had a spinal fracture.
And Jessie isn't even a wrestler.
I raise, train, and sell horses.
That explains the injuries and why she's so good at wrangling talent here at the NWA as our stage manager. You don't have to be tough, but it helps. For myself, the hurt in wrestling is a little different, for I'm not interested in being in the ring as much as succeeding outside of it. And right now, I'm not quite measuring up.
My life after 60 will be so pleasant. That's what I keep telling myself.
I'm proud of the event we put on so far. I just really wish more fans had shown up.
And the best thing is, we get to do it all again tomorrow! Yeah!
I believe that concludes day one of the 2023 Crockett Cup. And yet I find myself wondering what we all need to do to get our attendance up for day two.
We're at a point where we're doing really good work, and it's so much effort and so much money to make it work. Let's just get on with it.
I mean, I think tomorrow will be better.
For all our sakes, I really hope so. Despite our poor attendance for what turned out to be an excellent show at the NWA's Crockett Cup on day 1, the stage is set for the semifinal and final rounds of day 2. But first,
hello everybody.
A little housekeeping.
Welcome to the talent meeting for day 2.
Thank you for last night. Good work. Tonight needs to be the money night. More people will be watching tonight.
Talent meetings are always important, but at multi-day events like the Crockett Cup, they're essential for reviewing yesterday's highs and lows and making sure tonight's effort is nothing but our best.
There was a shocking number of talents that are veteran talents that cut promos to their ass to the camera last night. Like they're talking to the guy over there instead of the guy over there. And there's way more people over there because there weren't that many people over here.
Make no mistake about it, we understand what needs to be done. We understand we have to put on the best possible show we can. And at the end of the night, bottom line, we need to have every fan there on the edge of their seats. We need to make them feel it at 1,000%.
And at least 500% of that 1,000% comes down to the NWA's vaunted women's division.
Nobody up for that. The hockey stick. Pack of Wolves.
Who absolutely killed it last night.
We have proven time after time as to why we run this company.
The women's wrestling has come so far from doing gimmick matches like, just bull crap. And now we're actually wrestling. We have hundreds of women now showcasing their craft.
The women's division here, I think it's one of the best, period. We have the toughest, most hardworking women on the scene. Nice. We get utilized.
These are the Page sisters, and we'll be seeing a lot more of them, and soon.
We get respected. This was a man's business.
Yeah. The camera loves us. This is what real stars look like.
I don't know how many times I got to say it, how many times the ladies steal the show on a pay-per-view. Absolutely killing it. Best women's division in the game right now. So all credit to the ladies. You're doing a great job.
And with that, competition on day 2 begins with what appears to be more people in seats.
Welcome to night 2 of the Crockett Cup.
Of course, the Crockett Cup is all about tag team excellence. But one of the highlights of tonight's action is a match for our women's world title. And the current belt holder has no equal because in the case of Camille, she's come from obscurity to be ranked among the best in the world.
And there's another spear!
She's in the record books for one of the longest reigning NWA Women's Champion, of all time.
I go by The Brick House, Camille. I'm the NWA Women's World Champion. I put that belt on my waist. I travel the country every single weekend, and I defend this damn thing. I actually played collegiate softball, and I got my degree. I thought I was gonna have a real job. Everybody knows who the people come to see, and I realized real quick, ooh, this is not fun. Everybody knows that for the past 2 years that I've had this, who's been the real main event. I got on Google and I just looked up how to become a professional wrestler. NWA Women's World Champion.
But no one stays world champion forever. And Camille is about to face a formidable challenger.
Tonight, I got a match against Natalia Markova.
The Crush, Natalia Markova!
My name is Natalia Markova, and I'm the best female wrestler in NWA.
Joining me at this time, the Crush herself, Natalia Markova.
I'll just show you what I'm capable of.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest striker we have in the NWA.
And I'm from Russia, so there was a almost impossible dream that I had, but I made it reality. I've been doing it for over 15 years. I've been all over the world in more than 20 countries. I wrestled in Japan and biggest arenas. So, I'm a big star.
Markova going all the way to the top. She's looking to fly a battle.
I actually have a master's law degree. I speak French, I speak English, I speak Russian, I speak Ukrainian. My parents wanted me to be a serious person and have a real education, but I just wanted to be a wrestler.
His attitude. Beautiful neck breaker.
Markova is probably one of the only people in the NWA has done everything I've asked her, not only to a T, but better than I asked her to do it.
Oh, there you go. Speaking of strong strikers.
And tonight's match is the biggest of Natalya's career.
It's a match that could steal the show, the NWA World Women's Championship match.
I gotta face Camille. It's a big title match.
I think this is the first time where people feel like, damn, like Natalya's got the belt.
For the uninitiated, strategy in wrestling is everything.
Markova and Camille. Camille has been the champion for 900 days.
People around the locker room, we don't let them know what the finish is, right? Because they're always like, you losing the belt tonight?
Well, let's find out. But whether Camille wins or loses is ultimately up to one person. And I've decided that Camille's time is not up yet.
Markova was a tenth of a second away.
You can't put Camille in a position just yet to lose. Camille doesn't want to face Markova.
Camille comes in!
Because Camille understands that Markova probably has her best number in a wrestling.
Right now, she's coming out.
So you create a scenario where Markova benefits from losing to Camille by coming within an eyelash of beating Camille for the title.
Coming in place.
She cut her in half.
All entertainment is ultimately about the hero's journey. Camille, I knew that once you gave her that belt, she was going to bust ass and rise up to the level of a champion and take people on that journey with her.
Her capacity, her ceiling is unmatched. Like, she could go anywhere she wants. She could do whatever she wants.
With this win, Camille retains the title, which places her on the list as one of the longest reigning champions in NWA history. But how long will my patience last?
Were you on the edge of your seat or what?
After 2 nights of hard-fought competition, the Crockett Cup is nearing its climactic finish. And it's been a weekend of drama, excitement, and peril, both within the squared circle and behind the scenes.
Joe and I put a lot of effort into trying to make sure that the promoters made this happen. No doubt.
Despite the paltry attendance, despite my own personal disappointment at our inability to draw in Winston-Salem, the wrestling has been fantastic. The wrestlers could have punished the crowd for not being bigger and sort of kind of sulked. I didn't see any of that. The field of 28 tag teams has been winnowed down to a final 4, with the Midnight Riders of Tyrus and Chris Adonis falling to the formidable Knox and Murdoch.
Likey, punchy.
While AAA's Latin luchadors Octagon Jr. and Miss Disease Jr. have succumbed to the brutality of blunt force trauma, managed by the still radiant Aaron Stevens.
We are the most devastating tag team in pro wrestling.
And the whole point of this 2-night event is to crown a true global champion. Which brings us to our historic main event. 2 teams left standing, 1 Crockett Cup for the taking.
Billy Corgan, David Crockett holding on to the cup. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
It's all led to this.
Who's going over in the final of the Crockett Cup 2023? BFT with Aaron Stevens or Knox and Murdoch?
What's particularly difficult for most people to understand is that the champions are the face of the company. They are the stars that drive this engine. Of course, everyone in the company wants to be the champ. Who wouldn't want to be the champ? Who doesn't want to win?
There's no doubt that Knox and Murdoch want the cup.
There's been a lot of times that Mike and I have been passed up for opportunities because we kind of stand outside the social norms of pro wrestling and what a pro wrestler looks like. We're not jacked up, we're not pretty, we're old school pro wrestlers. We look like real grown-ass men beating up grown-ass men.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of a chip on our shoulders.
But blunt force trauma and Aaron Stevens also have something to prove.
BFT is the first team that I've managed. And winning the Crockett Cup, that says a lot about both them and myself. That says we're here, like we're coming out of the gate.
There is a Crockett Cup victory real soon coming.
But much like Camille and Markova's earlier contest, a victory at the Crockett Cup must make sense from both a storyline standpoint and a business one.
Whether you go to Knox and Murdoch or BFT, you have to explain to either one of them what the narrative is past the match.
Because that's all wrestling's about. It's not what are we doing tonight. It's what are we doing tomorrow. What's going to happen next week?
So what BFT's gonna win, what happens with Knox and Murdoch afterwards? BFT are heels, so they can cheat to win. Aaron can use the loaded glove.
He's loading Lucille the glove.
Trevor has no idea what he's in store for right now.
He got him, no!
But if they win,
What a boot!
we now have a gripe, and we can go after them and tell stories.
His dreams of winning the Crockett Cup are surely gonna be over.
Which means we get more high-profile matches out of the loss. Now there's further business.
Here comes Trevor! Here comes Trevor!
I think BFT going over isn't the best end of the business. Knox and Murdoch is the best end of the business. So now you have a built-in storyline that can go on for years.
Now, somebody might look at Knox and Murdoch and say, those guys have been around too long. Not for me, not even close. I will make the argument that Knox and Murdoch's best years are ahead of them, because in the way that the NWA operates, their value has not yet been fully realized.
Crockett Cup was probably one of the top handful of things I've done in my whole career. We're one of only 12 teams that are engraved on that thing, and every one of them are legends. It's something that they can't take away.
You can never take that away from us.
No matter what. No matter how bad I mess up tomorrow.
Thank you, great job. Congratulations. I told you. I wasn't booking you right. I get you there. You two together, man, dynamite.
When we don't draw what we should, I look towards a Knox and Murdoch who believe in the NWA and believe in me and what I'm trying to do. That's the thing that gets me over the line and goes, okay, I gotta go back to work. So when you ask me, will there be a Crockett Cup in 2024? Absolutely. But there's a lot to accomplish between now and then.